Okay, so I'm currently being haunted.
By me?
Haunted, yeah, by this cute little ghost. I'm gonna interview our new friend. This is my new best friend. Yeah, a little cute little ghost. I've always felt like my house was haunted, and sometimes when I stream, people said they could like see a ghost. So it was this little ghost the whole time.
Yeah.
So
They were right.
little ghost. Oh, Ozio-san, thank you! Yay! Arigato. Ghost, thank the nice man.
Thank you, nice man.
Okay, so let's introduce our new friend. Yeah, so what's your name?
My name is, well, I'm Chest Marius on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I play Minecraft and talk about anything that comes to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Usually politics or the opera. That's kind of topics I do. Yeah. And I'm here to talk politics with you today.
Yeah, basically, on my other stream, we were talking about how we're not so... Like, I want to be more... I want to, like, be smarter. And I want to educate myself more in politics because I feel so strongly about it. But I need to educate myself a little bit more. And I've been reading the Communist Manifesto. And it's a hard read. I've been reading it and, like, highlighting parts. And maybe we'll talk about it in another stream. But for now, I think it's easier if we're all just educated by the little tiny little ghost.
Yeah, we can just talk a little bit about our views and what we're thinking.
I wonder if we have really opposing views. Do you think that we're gonna argue?
We'll dig deep and maybe we'll find something that we're completely opposed about. And I'll just storm out of the stream. Right?
You're gonna disappear.
Yeah. No more haunting.
Yeah, no more hunting. Not gonna haunt me anymore. You're gonna haunt someone else. So yeah, let me just check the comments. Hi Nia. Hi Andre. Bon dia. Bon dia. How do you wrap your hair? Did you get the dye done or is it a wig? I got bored last night and I dyed my hair with like a toner and it turned too much. But it's gonna fade back to blonde, so like don't worry about it. It will go back. But like for now it's this. So yeah, how did you dye?
Oh yeah, I talked with the wrong people about politics and they killed me.
Which people? Another kid. What are they called? The Confederates.
The Confederates. Yeah, exactly. That's the side you want to be killed by.
When did you die?
Hundreds of years ago. I can't even remember.
Really? You don't remember what year it was?
No, I mean, you basically forget everything once you die. I can hardly, yeah. I don't remember if I was even alive, but just the last seconds of before my death.
That's so
Yeah.
you don't know how you died either.
Well, yeah, not 100%, but it was either guillotine or like shooting. I'm not sure.
Guillotine?
Yeah.
Does that mean that you were like one of the bourgeoisie that got killed?
No, it was like after that when we were infighting.
Oh, you got killed because like you stole a loaf of bread.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a little orphan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that might have been it. It could be it, anyways. And then I ended up in a Japanese house. It's just weird how we're assigned like that.
Why are you speaking English if you're haunting in Japan?
Oh.
Are you not from Japan?
It's just communication, you know, you need to speak in the language of the person you're haunting.
Oh, that makes sense. Can
Yeah.
you speak other languages?
Only if I'm haunting someone else.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Actually, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why
It's
do
a
you
good system.
Why do you care about politics if you're dead?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're bored and then you follow what's going on, you know. There's a lot of showmanship to politics.
Okay, so
Yeah. Why do you care about politics?
True. I guess I'm living, so it does affect me. Like,
That
I
does make
honestly think that you need to care about politics because if politics is going to care about you, like if you don't, you need to learn a little bit about politics. At least the ones locally to you. That's my personal opinion. I know that like it's fine to be like. I don't know, like, I don't mind people that are apolitical, but when people say that they're not interested in politics or they're apolitical, it does give me kind of a weird vibe.
Yeah. They have like a very narrow view of politics, I think.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's it. Like, I'm not quite sure why this, like, kind of, like, gives me a little bit of the ick, but when people say they're apolitical, either I feel like they're hiding their political views, or they just don't care about any other people.
I suppose, yeah. But I mean, like, I feel like even then they would be interested in politics as they affect them. Like, you know, I don't know, tax cuts or things like that.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, when I talk to people about politics, it's like, are they only interested in the issues that affect them personally? That's another red flag for me. It's like when I ask people why they vote for someone or something, they're like, oh, because like as a small business owner or as a blah 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 blah, I find that blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, but did you like when they didn't mention their community, they didn't mention their country or like anything. It's just like everything's about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what can it do for me, basically? What
Ozzy Osbourne said it.
Yeah.
You may not fuck with politics, but politics will fuck with you.
That is true.
I get it, like, because also, like, people have become kind of fatigued with politics over this last... particularly the last few years, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like especially we're bombarded with American politics.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly.
And I feel like American politics are kind of, like... They're a lot, and they're very, like, contrasting, and they're... not contrasting, but I don't know how to explain it, but they're very strong. I feel like they're very different to like Europe when we talk about politics.
It's a little bit more pluralistic in Europe, I think, usually. Like
exactly.
in American politics, everything gets divided into two camps.
Yes, no, exactly. And that's wild to me because when I speak to people about politics, people often think like, is she like a Republican or a Democrat? And obviously I'm not American, so like, and we also like, I don't think of politics like that.
Yeah.
At all, and like I wouldn't really consider myself a Democrat if I was American because I'm so left wing.
Yeah.
I mean you gotta pick one or two, really. I guess if you're American, if you were American, who would you have voted for in the election?
I would have voted for Kamala Harris. As a lesser of two evils kind of situation.
Yeah, me too. Like, and that's like quite a controversial thing. Like, obviously, I don't want to vote for Kamala, but like, I would have in that situation. If you're being served two foods and one is like a dry spam sandwich with just bread and spam, and the other is dog food.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna go for the spam sandwich, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean. That's basically what Noam Chomsky says too, right? Like when you get the choice to vote, you vote for whatever is the best of the options you're presented with, and then you try to continue fighting for what you believe in the time between that, the next election. Yeah.
No, honestly, I love that, and like that's why Little Ghost is here, so you can educate us about stuff like that. So. I don't really know like how when people ask me how I am politically, I don't really know, and that's another thing is that for people like me who haven't been necessarily educated on politics, it's hard to talk about it because like basically I guess I'm a socialist that thinks that there shouldn't be homelessness, there shouldn't be poverty, child poverty, and no one should be hungry. I really believe that like the allocation of resources hasn't been allocated properly, and I just think like stuff like that. Like generally, I guess my views are more focused on the working class and improving quality of life for everyone is like my main thing. So I don't know how like that is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like you generally leftist politics, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about labels generally? Do you want to have like a certain label for your political views, or are you more looking like, oh, these are the labels that exist, and some of them are...
That's the thing, because all these labels are just like man-made anyway, so it's like they're not really real things. And it's hard because like I'm from England and I live in Japan, so like the labels you would use for those things are different, right?
Yeah.
So I guess in that respect it doesn't really matter. I'll just say I'm really left-wing normally. I guess is that the right way? I guess I also say I'm like a socialist.
I mean, yeah. I think they mean different things to different people anyways. Like you can explain what you mean with that, but I think if you say I'm left-leaning, that's people associate something with that, so that has some power.
What about like liberal? Because I know liberal is a bit of like a dirty word, and I tend to not use liberal because I think it has a lot of like negative connotations.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, it's a very broad term, I think, right? And if you think about it, in Japan, the Liberal Democratic Party is a very conservative party, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then, for example, in German politics, the Liberal Democratic Party is like a libertarian party, like hardcore market libertarian. And in the US, and I think that's where the dirty word comes from, liberal is the Democrats, right?
All Hears Me said, I'm still amazed to this day that I first heard Noam Chomsky's name from linguistics, but now it's more often in political context.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think like the political aspect of Noam Chomsky is much more, it's more interesting to most people. The linguistic part, he's obviously a very well-regarded scholar in that, but not everyone is as interested in linguistics, of course.
I didn't even know you did that, so like after this stream I need to research that. This is what I mean, is I went to this stream so I could educate myself a little bit better. Glitch said, hi precious bonbon, hi. Everyone tell me your political leanings now. I promise I won't judge you. I'm also not the kind of person to love the hair stunning. Thank you. I tried to tone it, but it kind of messed up. I'm not someone that like. Here's my thing: is that I don't want to create like an echo chamber of just people with the exact political view. I think that's very, very unhealthy. At the same time, obviously, I don't want to hang around with people that like believe that people like me shouldn't have rights, or like you know, that we should be doing things in the Middle East that we should not be doing and stuff like that. So like it's very, very. I try to keep like a balance. I really think that I try to listen to every point of view. So I think it's important to not like consume too much of only left-leaning media, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's also different levels you can talk about in that, right? Like you want to know what many people think, even people that you're completely opposed to, right? Like you do want to know.
I always want to know the opposing side. I think the issue is that now almost all media, because I use Twitter a lot, that's almost completely right-leaning.
Yeah.
And everything's becoming just like right-leaning media now. So I feel like we are subjected to that a lot, and that's maybe why I think like left-leaning people tend to cut right-wingers out, is because we already hear this already so much from like the media.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's probably part of it. And then the other thing is like often what you disagree on are very fundamental things that are very meaningful to you. Like, for example, like you were saying, especially like as a woman, like now, like a lot of the people who supported Trump are talking about like your body, my choice stuff and stuff, and that's obviously like disgusting, right?
I can't be around anyone that says stuff like that, right?
Exactly,
That immediately causes a divide. Wait, we got a ton of comments, hold up.
Yeah.
I see liberal as a center which tries to find the common ground between human rights and genocide. Socialist or progressive is how I see myself. Okay, yeah, I guess I think I'm progressive. I'm also socialist, so we're pretty similar. Political leanings will be recorded from when the time comes. Jesus Christ. When the revolution. Sorry.
You're prepared.
Yeah, I'm prepared. I want everyone to be treated fairly and have a life they can afford to live. Oh my god, yeah, me. Basically, my whole thing is just I think everyone deserves a decent quality of life, and that's not happening, and that's the main thing. Because like for me, it's like the smaller things. Like the main focus should be everyone gets to live, everyone gets to have rights, and everyone can eat and have like a house. Yeah,
and I mean, above that too, like you want fulfilling things, right? Like you want people to be able to partake in like society and culture, and not just the necessities. The necessities are necessities, you need them, but on top of this, like people should also have like fulfilling things they can do, and that's coming very short as well.
Oh my god, I love that, because like we were talking about this earlier, how like as like for example, I don't want to bring up Hassan too much, but like in Hassan's stream, people would attack him because like he owns a house, and they're like, oh, you're supposed to be a socialist. It's like, no, everyone should be able to own a house. Like this isn't a fucking luxury. And also, it's not being a socialist isn't like we should all be like miserable and just everyone gets to live equally, but we're all eating like gruel. It's not like that. It's like everyone deserves to have a nice quality of living, like an enriched life. We can still have nice stuff, like this, and we can still have like Gucci. It doesn't have to be. We don't have to be like even rags. It's just like it should be a little bit more balanced. It shouldn't be like people starving and then people at the top with gold toilets. It should be a little bit more evened out. Like it's not gonna. I don't think it's ever gonna be completely equal, and I don't think necessarily it should be, or it can be. But I think it would be nice if it was just a little more equal.
I mean, I think also like if you talk about socialists, like people try to get them in a gotcha of like, oh, you own stuff, right? And there's like the way you can think about this is that socialists aren't really opposed to what you would call personal property, right?
Mhm.
Something that they own themselves, right? They're more opposed to private property, which is basically the ownership of what Marx would call the means of production. So, like, a capitalist is the problem, not someone who has like a house and like a nice purse or something like that. That's not really what.
Oh, you're so correct.
What the
Like,
issue is.
I think it's like a lot of the anger is misdirected at what we can see, which is like someone with a Louis Vuitton bag or
Yeah.
something. It's like they're not the problem. The problem is like the people we can't even see, the people that are in control of all the resources. So then we got a lot of comments. My political view is everyone deserves to be educated properly and fairly, not so they're kept stupid so they can be molded. Oh yeah, that happens a lot in America. Like the red states, they apparently do keep them stupid. Not honestly stupid,
Yeah.
but like lesser educated.
Well, there's like a fight about like what goes into textbooks. I mean, in Japan too, right? Like there's the right wing is controlling certain aspects that aren't allowed to be mentioned, like things like the occupation during the war,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of like you're just trying to erase a part of history, right? But which actually, like this, if you're interested in that, there's a very good book called The People's History of the United States, which goes into it more of a look of the oppressed people throughout the history of the United States. It's a really
That would
good
be
book.
very, very
Yeah.
interesting because we are always taught history from like the winners and
Yeah.
the people on top, but we never taught from like the working class people who actually helped to make
Exactly.
that happen. Someone said being a socialist means everyone is lifted up together. Yeah, that's true. And All Hears Me said, is it just me who finds it hard to keep a conversation going with right-leaning people in general?
Mhm.
I think it's like, because honestly, like I do have friends that are right-leaning, but it's more that they aren't necessarily right-leaning. It's more that they think they just don't know that much. And when you explain to them that what they want is actually left-leaning, what they want is actually socialist, they kind of like, oh, okay. Because they're taught that like socialism bad, Venezuela. But then when you actually speak to them, their politics are left-leaning. They just don't really understand what is left or right, and they're like,
Yeah, a lot of policies that are left leaning are incredibly popular among most people because they will benefit from them. But then because of, I guess, vibes or whatever thinking. I mean, we saw that with the Trump election too, right? Like a lot of people are voting based on
Vibes.
an image. Yeah, basically, yeah. An image they have that doesn't really have
We-
anything to do.
we're still going to talk about that in a sec. 1 second.
Yeah.
Bentley said, under socialism, Birkins wouldn't cost as much as a used car. Yeah, for real, that's a very
Exactly.
good point. This is what I mean. It's just allocation of stuff. I really do think that like things just need to be regulated better. A lot of things need to be capped.
Yeah.
There needs to be way more capping, like for most things. Now it's like the groceries. Like I hate that we have to talk about groceries. Like this shouldn't be an issue. Like we should be talking about luxury goods. But again, we have to go back to groceries. Like we're still living like medieval peasants. Disability is such an important topic in general. Oh yeah, again, that's such. Yeah, we also need to think about the people who are like the most vulnerable members of society. We tend to think too much about like the best kind of society is one where like every citizen, particularly the vulnerable ones, don't have to worry that much about what's going to happen. Book reviews when I learn how to read. I am reading the Communist Manifesto now, and it's going to take me a while because I can't read. So
Audiobooks.
Glitch said, bro, if I didn't have my family, I would be a homeless or dead. But that's dark, but it's a huge part of politics. Yeah, that's my fear about America in general, is that if you get sick or if you're disabled and you don't have any family, and like for me, I don't have any family, so like if I were to get sick and I was American,
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do because I can't work. Like, would I just become homeless? Like, in Japan, there's like disability stuff in place.
Yeah.
So I'm not as worried here, but I would generally worry about it if I was American. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also like a thing that a lot of conservatives believe in, is that like families should take care of you. And I mean, that's obviously a nice idea, but not everyone is blessed with a supportive family. So actually having a system that helps everyone to succeed it's just better, I think.
Yeah, that's the problem, because a lot of the conservative stuff is like very family orientated, but then it doesn't, like, what about the women that can't have kids, the women that don't want to have kids? What about people who don't have parents? What about, like, just stuff like that? It's like, it only, it's fine if there's like a nuclear family.
And even then, it comes with problems that you can.
Like the problem with that is like when it's built on that, and there's any like domestic violence.
Exactly.
Then it's hard to leave, because like you're told that that's the most important thing, and you need to uphold this kind of nuclear family. And if you're breaking that unit, then you're the bad one in this.
Yeah, and like it's just not realistic in the way that people live now, right? Like there's just so many.
Polyamorous.
No, I mean. Not even necessarily that, right? Like people get divorced, they marry someone new, and they have like children from a different marriage. These kind of things. It's just like a much more complex society now than what is imagined. And even back then, like even if you're like, oh, the good old days of the 60s and 50s or whatever, it's not how it actually was, right? Like it's a very small.
Yeah, people bring up like the divorce rate going up as like a bad thing, but honestly, that's great, because like the people can choose. Now women aren't trapped in relationships like where they're getting abused. Like I'm sure, like
sometimes divorce is the correct thing to do for a relationship. Not even like with any fault for anyone. That's like what the no-fault divorce thing is about, right? Like sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it's better for everyone. Yeah, you should be able to
just divorce for any reason, even if you're just not feeling it anymore. Like you should be able to leave. Like, because my parents stayed together, because my parents are quite old, so like their views were a little bit old, and they stayed together, and they should have not. Jesus Christ! And I told them like get a divorce, and they were like, "No, we're staying together for you." And I'm like, "I want you to divorce them."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like even the children often they are just better off if the parents don't hate each other, right? Like if they can be on friendly terms and separated, it's definitely better than like a fucked up situation.
Nia said, "I don't know how politics work. I just know the world is getting more effed up as the years pass." That's true. That's that's another thing. Is like I think entering into politics is quite difficult, and like I'm really into this. I'm really into the streamer Hassan, and so I'm learning a lot about that. But like there's so many different words. There's so many different, and like I'm not American, so I have to learn about like Congress and the different levels and different senators, and that's different, completely different to like the British or Japanese system of having like a prime minister and that kind of like government. So you have to learn. Like I didn't, until recently, until a couple of years ago, I didn't know about the electoral college system, because why would I?
Yeah. I mean, it's not relevant to you, really.
Not relevant to anyone. They shouldn't have it.
It is a terrible system.
So it's just stuff like that. I think it's very hard, and that's another hard part of it. I think they make it deliberately complicated, maybe so like people don't really know what's going on, and it's harder to make an informed decision about who you're voting for.
Yeah, I mean, especially modern politics, like you kind of have to be sort of a career politician. Like you really need to dedicate it, and then there's like all of these things. You have to be a good party soldier and that kind of stuff. But obviously politics goes beyond that, right? Like, I mean, local politics are very important, of course, right? Like you can contribute, I don't know, whatever kind of organization you have locally. For us as foreigners, right? Like we're not able to vote in any Japanese.
I can't vote,
But I mean, that doesn't mean that we can't be like engaged in politics here. Like you can go to demos, you can
that's
try
true.
to partake in whatever is important to you.
I'm really into the Japanese Communist Party. It's pretty good.
Like policy-wise, they're definitely most in line with what I'm interested in too.
Yeah, and like the thing is as well is like I think a lot of people hear communist and they get a little bit scared because they think of like maybe the negative connotations of communist, but it's not even really in any way affiliated with, I don't know, it's not really communist.
Not so much anymore, definitely, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of older people don't have a problem with it because of the history too, right? Like there was like a lot of closeness to the Chinese Communist Party initially. But the modern party, I think, it definitely has the politicians that are the closest to what progressives really like, yeah.
Because like in Japan, like obviously there's been one party in for almost 55 years. I think there was like a one switch at some point, but like it's been like Jiminto, or that I always forget the LDP. LDP, yeah, it's the LDP. So like they've been in power. So it's like We don't even have any choices really here.
Yeah.
If I wanted to vote.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've lost their majority again in the last election.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I know in Japan, I feel like voting for your local constituents is really, really important. And I do have a little look at like my local ones. I think everyone should. It's also good to know. And there's a lot of like LGBTQ local Senate mayor. What are they called? They're not mayor because there's like the mayor and then there's the constituents, I guess.
Do you mean the tops of the wards, basically?
Yeah. What's like that called?
What? I have no idea what they call it in English. No, because you always have to translate, right?
Yeah. So, and I guess it's similar to the British one. Wait, what do they call the MP? No, it won't be called an MP. I guess
MPs are the ones that go to Parliament and then.
So they. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You probably mean the mayors, right? Like of the wards.
I don't think it's the. Maybe, but because for example, for the coup.
Yeah.
They don't have a mayor.
Yeah, but they have a top person that like there are elections for them.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but anyways, that person. So I think that's important to like learn at least the people in your local area what it's about.
And who's like organizing and that kind of stuff. It's good to know.
Councillors. I don't think it's called that. Glitch said, politics could stand to be way less complicated, but in many cases intentionally made to be more complex. Also with me because divorced. Oh yeah. Your phone has Hassan. I have Psyche Kusul. Trans Icon. Oh, I don't know them. I'll look them up. Also, don't forget to drink water if you have access to it. Oh yeah, you're right actually. I always forget. Thank you. I brought this up specifically. You can hear my glugging.
You like the soda, right?
Yeah, I like a bit of like I like my water spicy. Like I like my men and women. No, actually, I like my
a spicy one.
Maybe. I don't like my men spicy. I like my women spicy.
Is that also a political decision?
Yeah. Can you imagine dating Hassan? He'd be like, "What's wrong with you? What are you talking about?" I might like that.
I mean, he seems like a chill dude.
Yeah. He's coming to Japan in January, so maybe you can meet him.
Oh, nice. That would be cool.
I don't know what I'd ask him. I'd be like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I've never been one for like meeting celebrities. Like I don't know what to say to them.
Yeah, I feel like I also feel it's a little bit awkward if I don't really have like a relationship with them already, kind of.
Someone said, "What about Old Spice?" Don't you mean Ice Spice?
New Spice. Yeah.
Spice Girls? What do you mean? Psyche Kusul is a pink-haired, canonically trans character. Oh, is that the one from that anime? He's got like glasses, like green glasses. I think I almost watched the anime, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Can you dap Hassan up in EGL? He might like that actually. So, we want to introduce him to like the homeless patrol people.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's what I would really like. If I got the chance to speak to him while he was here, I would tell him to come to the homeless patrol one time, and then he could see like the homeless situation in Japan a little bit closer up, and just see how things are run here. And also the guy that owns it is like Yugoslavian, and he is a hoot. He's great.
He's a communist. He's great.
He's
a real character.
He is borderline problematic.
Well,
not even borderline.
He's just problematic, but he's also really cool.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
I think Hassan would love him.
No, for real, I think he would too.
Also, he met Chomsky as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when Chomsky came here, he actually came for the homeless patrol to like talk there. Yeah,
oh,
there's a photo of them together.
Yeah, I want to get way more involved with it. I want to try to do it at least every other month. Would be good.
Yeah.
I really do. And there's one, I almost doxed myself. There's one closer to where I live that I would like to try as well. So, yeah. If you guys, I really recommend looking in your area, maybe on Facebook, and see if there's any like homeless.
Yeah, I know there's also a couple like soup kitchen kind of events in
That could
Tokyo.
be fun. I can make some soup.
There's some stuff you can volunteer.
Yes, green glasses. Yeah, I know this guy. I haven't seen the anime, but I feel like I should watch it. He's like an alien, right? How are we feeling about Marxism, socialism being the logical end of capitalism?
I mean,
Way to say.
I think I, this part of Marx's theory, I don't think is has shown to be that true. Like, I don't think that's how it works. Like, obviously, Marx was very influenced by Hegel, and he thought it would be an inevitability, and I think it's much more shown that politics is a fight you have to fight for, and it won't just happen.
We need a revolution.
Yeah, either that or an evolution. But either way, like, I don't think it's just naturally going to happen. The way that he was thinking about it is that because the working class is going to be so impoverished that it's just going to be a necessity to transition from capitalism to socialism, and ultimately communism. And
but wouldn't that mean that, like,
Yeah.
it would be at the point where all the working class people are just basically cannot afford to live? Would it be,
Yeah.
like, right at the end? Because I feel we're not there yet. It's getting there, but...
So, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what he was thinking, and he was thinking it was going to happen. But since then, obviously, things have happened in between. Like, I think there's classes now that are, like, kind of a buffer between the capitalist owning class and the working class, right? Like, what you would maybe nowadays call PMC, professional managerial class.
Oh, okay.
And I think that probably
Is that like the bourgeoisie?
So, it's sort of more not exactly, but like it's sort of similar. Like, it's kind of the people who are in charge, like people who have like good jobs, and they are managers and they get money, but they don't own like the companies and things like that. And it's kind of like a buffer between these two groups. And actually, I watched a really interesting interview with Adam Tooze, who's a economist, and he was kind of saying that, like, a lot of the American election can be explained by the working class being very resentful of the PMC, which are like the people who tell them what to do, right? Like, you know.
Yeah,
like,
no, I can.
Yeah.
Do you think that would lead to, like, an infighting internal struggle, and then that would the governments would just collapse, or like societies we know would just collapse?
Well, I think, like, the thing that the way that it seemed so far is more that it's been a stabilizing aspect of capitalism. Capitalism would perhaps have collapsed earlier if this wasn't introduced.
Someone said,
Yeah.
I'd imagine now that we have computers, the computation problem can be overcome, among other things. And have you seen the graph comparing the current wealth inequality
Yeah.
reaching pre-revolution France levels? Oh, so now, like, the graph says that now the inequality that we have in society is worse than before the French Revolution in France.
Right. Yeah. I can imagine that. About the computational problem, maybe I should just quickly define that. That's a point that.
Please, Dave.
It's a point that market-oriented libertarians make, right? Like, they say that the way we do capitalism is the best way to allocate resources because of the markets, right? And what the Soviet Union and other, like, Marxists might have said is that you can centrally plan it better, potentially. And I think what your commenter is saying is that computers and maybe AI could be as advanced now to actually make this possible, to allocate resources in the most efficient way.
Do you think that that's a good thing? I think, honestly, I'm not a fan of, like, AI and stuff like that, but I think this could be, I mean, it can be manipulated because it's just code, right?
Yeah, I think it can be manipulated. The question is, like, it can also be like some sort of hybrid. I don't think you need to have both, right? Like, you can
that's
have
true. And so
markets.
the AI can say, this is the best thing, I think. And we're like, okay, we're going to take that data and we're going to use it as, like, a base.
Right. But, like, or for example, like the way we were talking about, we could have markets in, well, Louis Vuitton purses or something like that. But then, like, for food, or like essential food, and for healthcare, like, we already don't have. We have different ways of allocating resources because it's just more efficient. So
Someone said about the class thing you mentioned, that
Yeah.
buffer class is CFO class.
CFO class. What's that's? I have not heard this.
No
before.
idea. Please explain that. Like,
Yeah.
and then managerial class, like not capitalists, but people who have authority over working class.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly it, in my opinion. The constant push of what the right calls the left the upper middle class, and ignoring the lower, more numerous working class. Okay, that makes sense.
That's
yeah.
kind of what Bernie Sanders was saying. I think you talked
We
about
should
this.
all listen to Bernie Sanders, quite frankly. Oh, because we were talking about this earlier, but like, it in the news, it says, I don't know, so one of the news said that Bernie Sanders is going to work with the Trump campaign for like economic things, and I personally think that's really, really good. I don't know what about you think, little ghost, but I'm for that.
I mean, I think we have the Trump. We have Trump and his people in there now, and like if he can do some things that are good, right? Like limit credit card debt, which is a massive problem in the United States, that would be great. He's probably going to do a lot of terrible things, but yeah. Sure, like work on the good things.
It's not like if you can't beat him, join him, but it's more like this is the situation we have, and I think that instead of just like burying our heads in the sand, a lot of the time you just got to do the best with the hand that you've been played, and unfortunately for America, this is the hand they've been played. And another thing is like it's not just America, like the whole world has been, now that America, like we have to pay attention to what America's doing, so unfortunately, so
yeah, we do, yeah, exactly. And I mean the way the American system works, like say the Republicans are now going to introduce a policy about limiting credit card debt. Like, should Bernie Sanders say no because what? Like, because he's Democrat? Well, he's a Democrat.
yeah, I was
but
gonna
like
say he wasn't even a fan of the Democratic Party anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter for him. So that's also a good thing. And again, it's just like, let's try to improve society somewhat, just in general, and without political stances. Maybe put that aside for a second and be like, okay, we're living in this trash heap right now. Let's try and pull ourselves out.
Exactly. Yeah.
And maybe it would be good if instead of fighting all the time, we just talked a little bit more about how to actually make things better.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously the American system is very competitive. It's not really based on cooperation generally, but...
Who invented capitalism, and why is it here to stay forever? That's like, I don't know, I feel like it's a long...
And to make it short, like, no one really invented it. It's like something that came out of... I mean, you can, if you want to look at English history, that might be a good way to look at it, but there's also other things. Like, we had things before that, like mercantilism, that basically people would own something, and then slowly there would be laws made to give more powers to people. Like, for example, it's like, could I now own this gold mine and it'll be mine forever, or something like that, right? Like you have this, or you start making a book business and you're like, well, I need copyright or something like that, and that's basically just how it evolved. Like, no one particularly...
Natural progression. It's like people's greed.
Yeah, people have
the
interests.
Manifestation of people's greed. And like, necessarily, I mean, again, I'm like not completely anti-capitalist. I just don't think that we should have just capitalism. Like, I feel like...
Yeah, you need like certain limits at least, right?
Regulations.
Yeah.
I think things should be better regulated, maybe.
Yeah.
Is CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, I heard this, but like there's too few actual CFOs. Like, I think PMC is a better, so professional managerial class is a better way to think about it, because we're talking more like about like maybe 30% of the population. But CFO types, I guess, yeah.
Glitch said, working with people you dislike so you can benefit everyone is a very brave thing to do.
I'm here.
What was that?
I think it's Siri.
Oh, fuck off, Siri. Working with people you dislike so you can benefit everyone is very brave. Bernie is doing it right. It's tough to do. That's a very good point, actually, you know? And, you know, I guess it is like that. Like, working anywhere, it's like you're not going to have the same political opinions with your coworkers, and generally you're just working towards your goal of making...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're in a union too, there will be things that you disagree about, but you have interests in common and they make sense, right? Like, I mean, or even if you go further, like in German politics, we're talking about, like, there's a bit of a far right, you could even call them Nazis, right? But like the voters of these Nazis still, like, they need drinkable water, and like fixing their water supply is not a Nazi issue, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
like just a normal issue, and you should fix it. Yeah.
No, you're so right about that. Someone said, "Oh my God, ghost VTuber." Where?
Yeah.
What do you mean? This is a real guy.
Yeah,
I'm
it's real
being
ghost.
wanted. Sometimes, All Hears Me said, sometimes the system. Sorry, All Hears Me always has like really good quotes. All Hears Me said, sometimes the system is keeping you too busy to putting food on the table to have enough energy to find out what the F is going wrong. That's so true. I think this is a problem, and this is why I think they purposefully keep the economy bad. And it's like people do stress right now with like the fact that groceries are expensive, gas prices are going up. Like if you're in Japan, you can't fly anywhere, it's too expensive, I literally cannot leave. Like that's my problem. Like, so I think people are concentrating on these very surface level basic needs, and it's hard to see what is actually going on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if you have these really basic needs not met, or you really need to struggle for them, it's hard to do anything outside of it. And then there's like other things like being separated through other I guess identities, or like other fights, like you should hate these people for this or that reason, right? Like that's a big thing. And I mean, there's also just a lot of numbing stuff, right? Like the entertainment we have is very mind-numbing in a lot of ways. It doesn't really...
That's interesting, because I think like the opposite side of that, which is very similar with the numbing, is that for the last like however many years, even a short time, every time I open Twitter, I'm seeing someone in Palestine getting murdered.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not, like, I'm just getting so burnt out and so sick, and like it never ends. There's nothing you can really do apart from like donate and spread awareness. Same with Ukraine. I've seen a lot of buildings being blown up, a lot of people get killed, and it's just constant. It is quite numbing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can really do, so I don't know. It's like that's part of it too. You do get like fatigue.
Yeah, like compassion fatigue kind of thing. Yeah, no, definitely that exists. And then because you do feel like there isn't really much you can do about this specific thing, right? Like it's a massive war between countries. Like, I mean, I guess I can donate a bit of money, but like ultimately, what am I going to do, right?
Yeah,
like I'm not going to change anything about that. And so I think it's just better if you're able to focus on your local situation. Like that can give you some feelings of power too. You can actually work on something.
Oh, you're so correct. I think that's really good advice to like try and improve the community around yourself. That's all you can do, and that's why I'm trying to get more involved with helping with the homeless community. We're gonna start we're gonna do a meetup soon that's like fashion and politics. My friend owns a space, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like LGBTQ focus, and they talk a lot about Palestine and a lot of issues. They talk about Sudan, which I don't really know anything about, and this is another thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll talk about like some issues and people are like, oh, why don't you talk about Sudan? And it's like, I don't really know about that. Like, I want to, it's just there's so much going on right now.
Yeah,
like I really should, like, you're right, I do want to become more educated about this, but like there's only so many hours in a day, and there's all these horrible things happening all the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. There's a lot of things happening. It's good to read about it, right? And you also have to figure out what you can focus on. I think like a lot of people, of course, like especially with Ukraine and Gaza, are feeling very closely involved because their governments like are very directly involved in either funding it or like doing supporting it. Like me as a German, right? Like
I know you're German, Geist.
German ghost. Oh yeah, I was for French Revolution ghost. Now I'm German. Oh, now I'm doxing myself now.
As a German Geist, go on.
As someone who potentially could be a German ghost, the German government is like responsible for a lot of the weapons that Israel uses, right?
I know. So that's what sucks as well. It's like every time I buy something.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, not in Japan, but right. Actually, that's one good thing. That's one good thing about living in Japan is like I'm not contributing to this. But you're right. Like if I went back to England and I bought something, that money would, some part of it would be used as a weapon.
Like Japan is actually like comparable comparatively good on this, like compared to like
We
the
have
countries.
some more. Are you reading the comments, Ghosty? Can you
I
read the
can't.
comments?
No,
Why can't you read it? Just pull up the live.
I'm just a little bit too far.
No,
away.
pull up the live. Pull up the.
I know. I think I like you reading them out. It
You
sounds
want me to
very
read
nice.
it to you?
Yes, please.
Okay. There's a lot.
People feel also like they like to be.
I know. I feel like we missed a lot, so I'm going to skip some.
Okay.
Here's me said, devs want to go to that kind of meetup. Yeah, I'm wondering if you guys would be interested in kind of like politics and fashion meetup. It'd be very small, very low key. I think the place can hold like 50 people, which is nice. Someone said the accent is very attractive. Not gonna
Ooh.
lie, I think they're talking about me. The
Of course.
little
British
German.
accents.
Wait, can you say something in German?
In German.
Wait, can you say my favorite thing?
Oh no.
My favorite thing in German, wait, calm down. My favorite thing in German is when you say, there's a saying that I've heard you say.
Me. Yeah.
It's, everything has an end apart from
Yeah.
a
the
sausage, which has two ends.
Yeah.
How do you say that in German?
Alles hat ein Ende, nur die Wurst hat zwei.
I love it.
It is true. Yeah.
It's very true. I like that. I use it at work. I teach my students that because I think it's funny and they never know what it means. Fashion and politics kind of are hand in hand. No, you're true. And I feel like fashion really does represent society in some ways.
Yeah.
That's why, in the 80s, during the boom era in Japan, I feel like people were very, very glitzy.
Yeah.
And now, if you've noticed, subcore fashion is really popular in Japan, and it's all like sweatpants and jaji, the hoodies and stuff like that. And I think generally people are tired. People are really tired. I think fashion is really reflecting that now. If you notice, it's very comfy.
I mean, I feel like especially with counterculture stuff like that. I mean, I'm not a fashion expert, but if
you don't wear clothes, you wear ghosts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can still be an expert even though you're not partaking in it, but I'm not. So, in Tokyo, right? Like people are really put together, and I think for their work they also have to often dress up, and so I think to counter that, you might go in the other direction in a way, right?
Yeah, a lot of places in Japan, you have to wear makeup if you're a woman.
Yeah.
Some places they force them to wear heels. Men do have to be well presented at work. Someone said, wait, I need glasses.
I mean, the heels thing was a big thing in the feminist movement in Japan a couple of years ago, particularly, that just women were required to wear heels, and obviously
That's wild.
It is, yeah, and wearing heels all the time has real physical repercussions, right?
On your back.
Yeah, your back, and it stretches your foot as well.
Someone said there is no such thing as a right-leaning punk, only a poser.
Yeah, okay. That's
I don't know why people say that. Honestly, I wish that was true, but I think a lot of them were actually not the best as well. Someone says, Harry said, especially the rise of the trad wife. Their fashion is political. That's true. It's a shame because I do like trad wife aesthetic because it's like cottagecore, right?
Yeah.
But they take it too far. It's cottagecore, but also you have to be married and have lots of children. I feel like they took that part too far. I would really like cottagecore, but I don't like
cottagecore plus submission.
Here's my thing. I support women's right to choose, and if you want to choose that lifestyle, I think that's great, and I think you should go for it. But I think you shouldn't choose that for me because I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, this is unrelated. Can I tell a story about myself?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I work with this guy. I hope he never sees this. I work with this Irish guy sometimes, and my other coworker told me that I guess because he's Irish, right? I think he might be Catholic. I didn't ask him, but he goes to anti-abortion rallies.
Right.
I heard, but like I've never heard of one of those in Japan, so I guess he did in Ireland. I don't know, so that's like his thing, right? And anyway, so the other day at work, he said to me, he said, oh, like, Bunny Sensei, I don't know why you said that you would be a bad mother. One, I never said that. I would be an excellent mother. I'd be a great mom. Like, don't get me wrong. I'd be like the best mom.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like I really want to, maybe. Like, I feel like I'm leaning like 80% to just not having kids. So I think at one point I mentioned, oh, like, I don't think I'm going to have kids. I don't know.
I mean,
think
it's probably protection, right? Like, he's like, oh, she can only mean that if she thinks she's a bad mother. Yeah.
So he was like, oh, yeah, no, I think that you would make a really good mother, so you should have kids and blah, blah, blah. I'm really pushing this onto me. And it made me uncomfortable because I know this guy is like really anti.
Yeah.
So it's like he's feeling like he's saying that women should have if I don't want to have a kid, like, also this
Yeah.
is awkward. You're some guy from work. Why are you telling me this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it's kind of overstepping bounds, right?
Yeah, soft girl core.
Yeah.
You're already our father. Yeah, I have a whole Discord and a whole chat full of unruly children, and sometimes I gotta take off my belt, you know. So like.
Yeah. I feel
there's
like
that.
if I can pontificate a bit about this,
Mhm.
like, I feel like a lot of conservatives are really focused on having women who don't want children have children,
It's
right?
very fetishy. It's very rapey.
is.
That's right. It's very like it's fetishy, isn't it? I don't think about
Yeah.
it.
And I think like the bigger problem, or like a big problem we have, is that there are a lot of women who do want children, but who can't do it because of economic reasons, because of social reasons, you know. And like if you focus on maybe getting
Those
all
problems,
the, yeah,
yes.
people
Oh my
who
God.
want children, enable them to have them, right? Like, you know, maybe have like kindergartens, things like that, you know, like actually support
Exactly,
working
particularly
women.
in Japan, it's like with
Yeah.
the birth decline. It's
Yeah.
like they're trying to get people to have sex, and they're
Yeah.
focusing more on that. It's more that like, particularly for like, I'm a woman that lives in Japan. Like, take the fact that I'm not Japanese out for a second, and I think that's quite relevant here. I earn quite a good wage for Japan,
Yeah.
maybe at my age. Like, I don't know, it's like not bad, right?
Yeah.
I cannot afford to have a kid. Like, I just can't. Like, maybe the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
way
it's
it would be
expensive.
like
Yeah.
if I had a husband that earned considerably more than me. And like, I taught this guy the other day, and he told me he earns 650,000 yen per month,
Yeah.
which is insane. That's really good.
Yeah.
And he's barely scraping by to feed his family, like, and keep
Yeah,
them all,
right.
like. So how am I supposed to have a child? That's okay. Wait, we got some comments. Hold up.
Yeah.
Someone said, "How amazing to have your very own ghost to talk
Mhm.
to." It is good, but like, he also doesn't shut up sometimes, and he
Yeah.
hates me constantly.
Can be annoying.
Oh, someone said it's also eugenicsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and like, this sounds like I'm sucking my own dick here, but like, I think a part of it is like, he's like, "Oh, Katie, you're welcome in." I use my real name now. And he's like, "Oh, you're cute," kind of thing. Like, I think that blah blah blah. So it's like, okay, would he be saying this to me if maybe I wasn't like, I don't know, maybe if I had a disability, or maybe if I was like chubby or something? I feel like this conversation wouldn't happen, you know. So I just think this whole
that's
thing is
true.
like, I don't think you should be having a kid based off of that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's not a good reason to have a kid, for sure.
Yeah, for real. Ozzy Olsen said, "Am I the belt in that situation?"
I kind of forget what word. Belt.
I said that because I'm their father and I have to take off my belt.
Oh,
You are.
right.
I mean, if you want to be, but I would like to hit them with my own belt, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta punish those kids in the chat.
Yeah. We're just for theoretical punishment. We're not in real life. We're
Truly
against
in a
it.
bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. So yeah, I don't see how anyone with like a relatively normal job could have a kid right now. You would have to like, and if I had a kid, probably I would want them to go to international school.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Not. I think elementary school in Japan's good, but after but like middle school is awful. So high
Yeah, it can
school's
be
not
very
too
bad,
right?
especially if you're like kind of not part of the like if you're half
Right? That would be a problem. So then that is extortionate, like
Yeah.
more than I earn even. So like you have to think about that. So the only way for women to have a kid really is if you find a husband with quite a bit of money. So then you're relying on a man so much, and I think that's a really bad position to be in. Like,
Yeah, especially if you don't really have any legal rights to that protect you, right?
oh, for real, yeah. Because like if anything happens,
Yeah.
I don't feel like that I would be adequately protected by the law. If that's my worry, if I got married and if I had a kid, I would be trapped, you know. And then
Yeah.
that's another thing, because it's expensive and the economy sucks right now. If I was with a husband and I had a kid, and then the husband started to be abusive to us, then you're in the position, it's like, oh, if I take my kid and go, we're going to struggle. Maybe my kid won't be able to eat or have a good quality of life. But if I stay, we're going to be in a situation. So I can't imagine. There must be so many people in that position, and so many women. It really breaks my heart.
Yeah, it is pretty sad to think about. I mean, I think generally also, like if you look at it from a societal level, like this kind of work, like rearing children, right? Like, and it's really important for society, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And so,
More funding should be given to
Exactly.
it, honestly.
like, I mean, that's kind of a feminist topic generally, where maybe this reproductive kind of work should be paid by society, right? Like, it is actually things you're doing.
Yeah, because like I would
Yeah.
have to take time off of work. I would get a little bit of
Compensate. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
maybe, and maybe they would fire me because that does happen in Japan still, that you can get fired. And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
like, oh, well,
especially-
then you can sue them. People always jump to that. It's like, well, then I need to be able to have enough money to have a lawyer, and then if I got that money back, it wouldn't be till way later, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult, right? Like, I mean, even if you have rights, sometimes people sometimes don't know their rights, or
Right.
they actually have to fight very hard.
Yeah, that's
for getting
another
them.
thing. You're so right. Is that most people don't know their own rights. I feel like this should be taught in schools. Sarah said, particularly in Japan, the idea of women is mothers. Any life outside of being a mother or lack of interest makes people think you're a weirdo. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, people always shocked at work when I'm like, oh, I think I might not have kids. They're like, oh, but you're so good with kids. And I'm like, yeah, doesn't mean that you want kids though. It's not that I don't. Honestly, I think, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, I think I did, but in the future I really considered fostering, because I think that there are so many kids in Japan that, and there's a lot of actually there's a lot of half and foreign kids in the foster system because of the American base.
No, yeah.
So it wouldn't be like I get a completely Japanese kid, which I can understand that might be jarring for them.
I guess.
So you could get, which, it's not, people adopt different race kids all the time,
Yeah.
right? So it wouldn't be, I don't really care, but like there's tons of kids that need homes already. I think need to
Yeah.
make more.
No, definitely. Especially in Japan, the ratio of kids getting out of the foster system is very low. Like, most of them stay in
Yeah.
the foster system, so it is a good thing you can do. I'm also kind of more drawn. I think that's a good thing you can just do for society, basically. And if you have a wish for children, that's something.
Exactly. So Sarah said, yeah, international school sounds much better than regular schools. I really like elementary schools because I worked in elementary schools for like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years, and I really like them, depending on the one. And because there can be a lot of bullying, but I think it's the same for like any country, really. But I think elementary school is good. Middle school, horrible. Would never send my kid to a middle school here. Spend 150k on fashion instead. Would love to. I found a coat today. It was 48,000 yen. I posted it in my story. You guys need to go see this coat. It's amazing. I would do illegal things for that coat.
You would shoot the code?
No.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood.
No, I'm joking. For legal reasons, this is a joke. I would never commit a crime.
If you shoot the code, I might get it. It comes.
Yeah,
in the
maybe
afterlife.
cool. Oh yeah, true. Aren't you wearing like a little sheet with the eyes cut out?
Ah, it's I never tried. Oh my god, I am. Wow.
There are companies in Japan that give maternity leave, but they are relatively few and far between. My one actually does, because it's a foreign company. My ex searched for ages to find a company with it and had to settle on a lower paying place. Pub Pinga said, I love the name by the way, we love foster carers. Yeah, like, I think for me it just makes sense. I've never gotten, I think that there is something really broken in me, because a lot of people want to have their own kid, but for me, I don't care about like genes or them having my DNA.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't care. Like, that's just me personally. I can really understand, and I feel like, no offense, because I know you're a boy ghost, but like a lot of men are like, I need my legacy, like blah blah blah. It's like, do you think you're King Henry VIII? You are a nobody from a generation of nobodies. Like, for me, like, I'm pretty sure all my ancestors were potato farmers, like Anglo-Saxons. Why do I need to continue this bloodline?
Yeah, I mean,
of peasants. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, maybe if you're like Wilbur the 28th, I can understand why your family might want you to continue, but it doesn't really matter. Even
and then you
it's
marry your cousin. I don't know if that's a great idea.
I don't want to marry my cousins. I did have one cousin that I always had a crush on when I was a kid, but now he's gay and he's married to a Mexican guy.
Oh, good.
So we can't get married anymore, unfortunately.
Nah, too bad. But I mean, I think a lot of people don't really think too deeply about it. I mean, it is the default too, right? Like, to have children, kind of, it's seen as the default, and so I think a lot of people go into it without really considering the pros and cons. And that's kind of what's been happening now, that more people consider it, or they have like different...
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of downsides because like often kids who are in foster homes, they come with problems like because they're going to be feeling abandoned, and there's a lot of stuff like this.
Yeah,
That's
of
something
course,
to consider. I would only recommend doing it if your heart's really in it and it's like you're willing to like not give up.
Yeah.
And like even if things get hard. Oh,
Yeah.
Alisa, hi! Sarah said, "Goes Maris, say the tap dancing bear quote in German." Tap dancing bear. Say in English
okay.
first.
Okay, I can explain it. Like, there's a quote in German where when you say something is particularly popular or something, and you say that's where the bear tap dances.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
What
no,
does it
it's
mean?
great.
I need a translation from English into English.
Yeah. And in German, it's "Da steppt der Bär."
Das steppt der Bär.
Yeah.
I love that. It sounds so German.
Yeah. I mean, it is German, so that's probably why.
No, but like, if you ask me what that would be in German, that is what I would
That's
guess.
true. Yeah, you would just guess. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, did you hear in Dutch? Spank me, daddy is like give me and clapping, papa.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was watching TV with my Obachan. Glad I made it. Oh, that's amazing. I want to watch TV with your Obachan. I have an Obachan I watch TV with sometimes. The one that set me up on a blind date.
Oh.
Wait, did I tell you about
was
that
that
ghosty? Did I tell
No,
you?
I don't think you did.
Oh, there's a video on it. So if you haven't watched it, go watch the video.
Okay.
I'll give you a quick abridged version. My neighbor, who's 86, knew that I had broken up with my boyfriend, and she invited me over for dinner. And when I arrived, there was our other neighbor there who I'd never met,
Ooh.
and he's like a chimpira, former bosuzoku. I suspect low-level gangster. And it was awkward as hell, and we had to make conversation for 3 hours, and then I went home.
Was it a blind date in both directions, you think?
No,
or-
I guess he'd never seen me before, but I think he was a bit more keen in on the situation than me.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, could have done without that.
Well, hopefully she doesn't have too many other gangsters she can set you up with.
Here's my thing. It's like, if I'm gonna date a gangster, I wanna date a high-level gangster, not like a
That's
chimpira.
true.
Like, if I'm gonna go the whole hog, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a Yakuza mob wife.
If things go down at some point, like, at least you want to have a fun life until then, right?
For real. Like, here's the thing. It's like, way back in the day, I have a video about this, which is a little bit controversial, but I did go on a date with Yakuza. And I was like, oh no, this is too dangerous. So like I blocked him when I found out. But thinking about it now and the relationships I had since then,
Yeah,
I
maybe.
should have just dated him. Like,
Why not? Yeah, exactly.
couldn't disappoint me more than. We won't get into that. Okay.
I mean, it sounds a little bit like it could be anime or something like that.
Yeah, my whole life is a freaking anime sometimes, you know, because like a lot of those crazier stories I can't even talk on YouTube about because they're a little bit too crazy.
Ah, yeah. Damn censors.
Get that Yakuza boss money at least. Yeah, for real though. I'm not gonna date a chimpira, like Jesus Christ.
I mean, I heard that, I don't know much about, but that the Yakuza aren't doing too well.
They're not. No, it's not a good time. If you wanted to date a Yakuza, you'd have to do it in like the 80s to get the full benefit. I guess, yeah. I wouldn't date one now. A lot of them are learning English now, actually.
Oh. That's good. Is it? I don't know.
Read some more comments. Okay, I'm back. I just got distracted. Fair. I'll date who I want to date. Ooh, kakui. I should not date who I want to date because I should not be allowed to choose anymore. Ghosty, I'll let you choose my next boyfriend.
Well, I mean, I thought we decided on Hassan.
Realistically,
Oh, okay.
Hassan would never date me because I am fucking annoying. I want to meet him though, just one time, so I can introduce him to the Yugoslavian homeless patrol manager and then call it a day.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he likes, your type though. What is your type? Socialist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be whatever.
Yeah, I'll be whatever you want me to be. I'll role play a capitalist for you.
For real though, I would put on the red Make America. If that was what he wanted, there it is.
He does
Everything.
sport that. So. sometimes.
Yeah, he does. I was like, I think it'd be funny if I had one, but I think it wouldn't have the same effect.
Yeah. You need to do a lot of setup to make these kind of jokes, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't work now. Maybe later. A Yakuza tried to fight me in Yokosuka at Dobuita Street. He cut me off on the sidewalk and kept going yo 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 and blocking my path. Oh my god. What did you do? I feel like every gangster I've ever met in Japan has been really, really nice. Like, honestly, they've been great. I saw a thread on Reddit, actually, where people are like, yeah, all the salarymen I meet are awful, rude human beings, but all the Yakuza I meet are really nice to me, so there's also that.
Gentlemen gangsters.
Jonathan Sakura said, I live in Jiugaoka. That's nice. Ina.
It's a
I
good
do
area.
not live in Jiugaoka. I will not tell you where I live, but I'll tell you that where it's not, and it is there.
If you tell them everywhere you don't live, they can deduce where you live.
How about Kento Yamazaki? He is who everyone wants to date in Saiki K's universe. Is this an anime character? Because I only want to date like a real person.
Oh, I think now I realize that too. It's the green glasses guy.
This conversation was literally 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, I just remember.
Is it because you died? Is it?
It just came
the
to me
delay? Yeah.
on a dead wave.
Yeah. The next person I date is gonna be like shocking for everyone. I feel like it's gonna be so far from my usual type. Everyone's gonna be like, wow.
Oh.
Find yourself a Pokemon professor and date whoever that is. I feel like we're on different planes of universe right now. I'm like, I want a guy with a job. So you're like, date this alien from this anime. I'm like, I just want to date. I just want to try for one time in my life to date a normal guy, just like a regular guy who has a job, who pays their taxes.
I mean, he does have a job though, right? Like he's on a TV show.
Are we still talking about this fucking alien guy?
I don't know.
Swear to God, if you guys keep going.
We're kind of setting you up with him. I mean, you did say I could choose him.
Okay, you're no longer choosing.
Okay.
And we can't date Hassan. We discussed those.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Both of my choices.
Then he said he loves meeting fans in different countries. Is this about Hassan? I hope so. I hope it's not that fucking alien guy again. The Yakuza are, but one thing that can be said about them is they stepped up during 311. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They did I can't even say this on the stream, but they did a lot of bad things too. Like they were attacking Korean people. So they did a lot of bad things as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like a lot of the Korean, like the Yakuza and the Koreans have like a lot of
overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also that too. I guess this is all these different like factions and stuff, right?
So, yeah.
You know that if you play Yakuza 0, like I've been telling you.
I should, yeah.
Tell
the documentary Yakuza 0.
Tell Ghosty to play Yakuza 0. I think
please.
he's like a Japanese actor. Okay, sick. Okay, I'll look him up. I don't know. Again, I just want to date a normal guy. We're done with this. No more celebrities. No more Yakuza. No more people that don't have jobs. Or like don't have like normal jobs. I tried to. Here we go. The follow up to the first story about the guy bumping into the Yakuza. I tried to go around him and then just positioned my body to go yo 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 back at him, and a hand reached out and grabbed him away. I turned and looked, it was his girlfriend. She was so pretty. I did. This is a wild story.
Yeah.
He should have banged his girlfriend for dominance.
Yeah. That's how you show dominance in the Yakuza spaces.
Glitch said, "Where is my pretty girlfriend? Oh my god." I was thinking, like, if I completely give up, maybe I'll start dating women again. But I don't know, because, like, then, I don't know, it seems hard. Like, I tried the lesbian dating app, and I didn't really... I feel like I'm too much of, like, a lipstick lesbian. No one was really interested. That was, like, my issue. And, like, when I date guys, it's either, like, my main demographics that's attracted to me is old people and high schoolers.
Yeah.
So there it is.
It's the inverse of the age range you want.
Exactly. CapsuleBunny's Bumble profile must be a socialist, must be okay with how I dress, must be liberal, must have a regular job and normal hobbies, must know a little English. I mean, they don't need to know English. They don't necessarily like, politically, they just need to not have bad views, because, like, I feel like most people aren't, like, so politically motivated. You have to, like, first of all, you need to understand that.
You need to not be Twitter poison.
Yeah, right? Twitter brain. Define old people. People over 65. I'm sorry, I don't want to date anyone over 65. Don't care. Don't care how much money you have, or how handsome or interesting you are. I am an old person, so, like, I'm not saying...
Everyone wants an old person to someone.
Yeah, I don't want to date someone that's, like, my grandpa's age. I'm not into older guys, I'm sorry.
You're the opposite of Lana.
Dating a salaryman video coming soon. My first boyfriend in Japan was a salaryman. Cannot recommend. I have a video about that. I met that guy recently, last year actually. After a while, we had dinner. Political views, don't be a shit. No, like, that's for real though. It's like, although I'm interested in politics, I know, like, realistically, most people are not, and that's fine. If I'm dating someone, they don't have to be into politics. They just have to believe that women should have rights, and that no group of people should be genocided. It's like, that should be, like, the minimum.
Yeah, some basic decency.
Rolling Rock said, I don't know if his girlfriend would like me. I don't wear a black shirt and big gold chain. Oh, yeah, true. I kind of like black shirts and big gold chains.
Can look good.
Not beating the hag maxing allegations. I don't know what that is. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, we were talking about politics. Hag maxing. I don't know. I'm not like this Zoomer talk. Like, I don't know what you mean.
Like a hag?
Yeah, I think if you're over 30, you're considered a hag now. So maybe I am hag maxing. Don't want to hear about that from a man. Sorry. Don't think you should have that in your vernacular. I think you need to drop that immediately. I don't really know what it means. Yeah. Don't care. Don't define it. Don't care.
And this is a really nice thing.
No, I don't care.
Okay,
I would date nobody until someone can convince me they are worthy of my time. I mean, yeah, that should be the bare minimum.
Yeah.
If you were a cute girl, ask me out, I might say yes to a date. Aww. I don't want to date anymore. Honestly, I would rather just not do that. I feel like I've dated enough in my life. I want to be I want to be assigned a husband. Like, I want to choose and then just get assigned one. And then we just get married. We don't even get married. I don't even care. They just...
You want centrally planned husbands.
Yeah, I want to be... the government should assign me one. Yeah. We can do it with AI.
It's basically like what incels want, just less awful.
Yeah. No, it's just the equal. I will be awful. Yeah. I'm a femcel. No, I'm not. Hag maxing is guys in their late teens or early 20s that want to date a woman in their 30s.
Okay.
That's the opposite of what I want. I'm not a cougar. Why is it called hag maxing?
Yeah. Hag maxing seems a bit meaner than cougar.
That's awful. What is wrong? This is not a real thing. Yeah. I love you can't even, like, date anyone without people assigning you a name based off who you're dating. It's like, oh.
I feel like this idea has gotten worse. Like, terms, right? Like, there's cougar, that's now. Okay, that's okay. MILF is like, alright, yeah. But, like, you know, hag maxing, I'm not sure if I'm on board with that.
Yeah, I don't like that. Never say that again. I never want to see that. I never want to see that again. Cougar is already weird. Yeah, I had that because my ex-boyfriend back in the day was like 4 years younger than me. So people used to call me a cougar, and it's like, I don't think that applies.
That's not what that means, I think.
Yeah. And the age kept going down. Yeah, I feel like people say you're a cougar if you're like in... I don't think you can be a cougar if you're in your 20s. And if you're in your 20s and your age rate, the age is so deep that people think you're a cougar, maybe there's a different word for you. That's not someone else.
I feel like cougar should be like late 40s at the earliest.
Yeah, for real. But I feel like late 40s is still MILF.
Yeah.
I think maybe early 50s. I start to think of maybe. And then you have to date like half your age. We need to put rules when...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need to define this, yeah.
when the revolution comes.
Someone needs to be in charge of this.
I will be in charge of deciding these names. And if you say Hagamaxing, you're going on the wall.
Yeah, you're not surviving the revolution.
Not surviving the class wars. This is getting dark. It's getting dark. It used to be like women over 50, yeah. Yeah. AI assigned spouse, it kind of sounds like what dating apps are trying too hard to get out. Oh, for real though. It reminds me of those fan fiction that I used to read that's like, oh, we got assigned each other in the marriage law. I'm like, that's horrible. And then I proceed to read 200 chapters of it.
Like, oh, you're having a lot of sex in this. Interesting.
And it's always a good thing in the end. I feel like in real life it wouldn't be like that at all.
No.
It would be awful. It would be awful.
There's maybe a reason why a lot of people don't have wives.
Yeah, honestly, like the male loneliness epidemic, I really feel for it and I really get it and I think it's awful, but at the same time, some of you should be lonely, actually.
Work on yourself.
Yeah, maybe work on yourself first. Like, honestly, I'm going to take back what I said. Not everyone is deserved a partner.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like no one should be
am.
lonely, but yeah.
No.
You, of course, yeah. Actually, you'll be the only one assigned a partner.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Do I get to choose?
No, I just said assigned.
So it's going to be random?
Yeah. Well,
is it like done by AI or is it just random? Because those are two different things.
I think, like, a random person gets to decide who you are assigned.
No, so it's like, is it like jury duty? Like what?
Yeah, sort of. Like, there's going to be a jury duty and they decide who you are assigned.
So it's a group of people.
I'm still developing this, but I now like this idea. I think it's going to be 12 people randomly chosen.
When the revolution comes,
yeah.
Is this what you're going to be in charge of? Just this.
Just deciding.
I forgot what I was in charge of in the revolution.
I mean, before you were in charge of this, but I think now it should be my job.
Okay, well, and it's just me, so
it's just you.
And then after I get assigned a husband, then what? When I get bored of him.
Then we shut down this.
No, I'm gonna get bored of him. You gotta assign me another one.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's fair.
Talk that talk. Yeah, I feel like don't clip that chat. None of the previous conversation, please. Politics. Treat your spouse fairly if you have one, and not everyone deserves a spouse. Honestly, I think that's the hard. Like, I hate to say this, and I feel like this is really problematic of me, but not everyone just like deserving of a partner until they're in a correct headspace and like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like people can live without sex. They really can, and have for a long time.
I mean, you're a guy, so you can't. You don't have a PP.
200 years. No
200
sex.
years now.
And before that, I was a kid stealing bread anyway, so I didn't have much sex.
Yeah, it's sad actually.
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so other people can do it too.
Do you date other ghosts?
That's a bit private, isn't
Sorry.
it?
sorry. Moving on, we have more comments. Dating council, yeah. Would you let a council of people decide? Honestly, like, I've thought about going on like a Japanese dating show even at one point.
Well, that could be fun.
Sarah said dating apps sound like a nightmare. Honestly, I've had very mixed experiences on dating apps. This time, after I was single, I went on them a little bit, and I went on 2 dates, and it just, I don't know, that was just kind of boring. So I was like, I got like fatigued immediately, and then I don't like swiping people. It feels mean.
I mean, I haven't been on a dating app, but it seems like people get addicted to that stuff.
Because like when you swipe and the match thing comes up, it is like a little bit of dopamine. And as someone with ADHD, I can understand how that gets like addictive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of like a skin in box.
I've had good luck with Bumble. Lots of women who are generally good at life requiring a bachelor helps, even if it's rude to say. Yeah, like, it sucks, but like generally, if you are in a good space in life, it's easier to get someone. Like, I don't think that should be controversial. Like, honestly, I have had so much more luck dating since I turned 30, which is wild. I thought it would be the opposite, but it's not, because I'm more established. I have a decent career, and I'm more sure of myself than I was before, so that makes sense. Need a show for aces. That would be nice, actually. Like, for people who are asexual, I would watch the hell out of that.
Friendship show.
But you'd still date, though.
I mean, if
You
you're
can still
that,
hold hands.
if you're that, I mean, there's
It
a lot of
depends, like,
different aces.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it's still a spectrum, right? So
Yeah.
some people still. Oh, that's interesting. I take recommendations, but not assignments. All for like someone to be assigned. I love that it's just the whole chat went from deep political commentary to making this dating council. People are really interested in this.
What's more political than that?
No, for real though. Like, would you let people assign you? Because someone said they would take recommendations. That could be good though.
Yeah.
I feel like
I feel like that is already. Didn't we have this? Isn't that like what a matchmaker is?
Yeah, there are matchmakers and like dating apps a little bit. I feel like dating apps deliberately don't pair you with someone that you would get on with because they want to keep you on there for longer and get you to spend money. So it's actually sometimes the opposite of that. Asexual, aromantic, and yeah, it's a spectrum. Yeah, that could be cute though. There should be like a dating app for asexual people because there's one for like every other sexuality, pretty much.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't go to uni. That's fine. You're really cute, so, and that's way better than having a degree. Ace and Ara are different. Oh, I would like to learn more about this. I'm really sorry, actually. I don't know that much about the asexual spectrum. But I should learn, and I would like to learn about it. I do have quite a few ace friends. Adoption, but it's for husbands and not puppies. And you go in and they're all like little cages. That's what I want.
Okay, I mean, we're getting close to the incel dream now, I think.
Yeah, we're becoming more incel, guys. I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
We're pro this in Minecraft, right? Like that's what you say on the stream.
Yeah.
Like with the gun too. In Minecraft.
The Minecraft gun.
Yeah. Now, isn't that what you say? Like you say the thing you mean, and it's really awful, and then you say in Minecraft, and then you can't be banned for it.
Oh, okay, in Minecraft, yeah. The dating council is. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're just talking about Minecraft. I'm cute and also like a degree. Yeah, that's fine. I'll be honest. My degree hasn't really helped me get any guys. I don't know what helps for me personally. Honestly, I think the best thing you can do is get good at talking. That it helped me immensely. After I started YouTube and I used to get better at talking, and I feel like particularly for men, is that a lot of men are too worried, like you're like, I'm too ugly or I'm not 6 foot tall. It's like women don't care about that. Yeah. All women care about is if you're good at talking and if you're awkward or not. And it sucks if you are. But I used to be hella awkward. Like I am very neurodivergent, but I had to really work on myself to like that degree. And if you really, really want to be a best version of yourself, I really recommend getting good at speaking. The best that you can. It doesn't have to be like amazing, but like the best version of yourself. No, what do you think, Ghost?
Yeah, I mean, I think like generally, like it's good to be sociable, right? And maybe like instead of going for dating immediately, try to like join some groups or something. You know, make some friends and then see how that goes. Yeah,
that's another thing that's really good mention. I think the goal shouldn't be to get in a relationship. The goal should be that I want to be a good version of myself, and I want to make friends, and I want to have fun.
And maybe just generally, like, I mean, but I think it's mostly a guy problem, but like try to just be interested in the other person.
Oh
like,
my god, for fucking real, like, Jesus Christ. Someone said, I'm sorry you had to steal bread, Tiny Ghost.
Yeah, well, you know, it worked out in the end. I'm on the stream now.
The Dragon Slayer Railgun in Minecraft. Some guys feel intimidated if a woman is more educated than them. That's also true.
That's true. Yeah.
Tara Moon Key's video,
She's good.
Amatormatavity, oh my god, I could not read, is a really great video about ace arrow. I'm going to watch that because I do want to learn more about people that are ace. Some small gestures, oh my god. For me, that's been a really big thing with dating. Is like, a lot of guys you go on dates with, and I think men are like, oh, I'm really worried about this girl being a gold digger, so I'm not going to do anything at all. And it's like, okay, I like it when like sometimes guys will bring me like a little gift, or they'll bring me omiyage from something, or...
I mean, it shows there's some appreciation, right? Like
even like like the guy I'm seeing now found like a song that he thought I would like, and he sent it to me, and I did really like it. And I'm like, oh, it's really, I think women just want to hear, I saw this thing and I thought of you. Because a lot of times when I'm dating guys, I feel like the moment I'm not in front of them, that they forget about me, like I don't exist.
Yeah, I mean, that feels bad, definitely.
And this is like a common thing, I think. Ozzy Osbourne said, it's difficult to imagine you being able to carry a conversation. So actually, I don't think you guys do this about me, but when I was a child, I was non-verbal for a really long time because of issues I was having. And it took me a long time to be able to speak. And then when I was in elementary school, I got bullied a lot because my parents were hella old and I didn't know how to talk to the other kids. And I didn't listen to modern music. I didn't know anything about, like, I didn't watch TV, so I was just really friggin' uncool. And it took me I wanted to get better at speaking to people, so I took time to like research things that other kids were into. I had to like learn like what like slangs and stuff like that. I think that's why I'm a little bit interested in trends and stuff like that, and I don't necessarily see them as a bad thing, because I know, like, oh my god, I'm going so off topic, and see my ADHD is going well, but you know, like, people really hate like things that everyone loves, like Taylor Swift, K-pop, certain TV shows. I think those are good because it connects people together. So when you meet someone and they might be into it. So for me, I think these things are really, really good, because when I was a kid, I didn't have any of those things that connected me to other kids, and I felt really isolated. And then once I started to watch like popular TV shows, it was just easier for me to relate to people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of like, I mean, that's what sports does for a lot of guys, right? Like, they immediately have like something to talk about, like the last game or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's also very, very true.
And I guess, I mean, we lost a little bit of this, but before, when there were like 2 or 3 TV channels, right, everyone would watch the same thing, and then you just have something to talk about and all this.
Rolling Rock said, just pretend to be poor for the first few months, then let them know. Honestly, I would just recommend just people should be honest. Like, and like, men don't like that women are a little bit interested in money. And it's like, okay, but I want to be able to like get married in the future, and I want to know that in like the next couple of years I'm gonna be able to live in a nice place, and I want someone that can keep up with me financially. Like, I hate that it's
important, right?
Yeah, I hate that it's like turned into such a dirty thing for like having to have these conversations, and particularly for me, and like, I'm a whole adult, so like I can't date someone that isn't financially stable. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that.
No, I mean, like, everyone should have the standards they want. I think that's okay.
All Here's Me said, hot take, the friend zone only exists because those men go into relationships with 100% expectations of romance and won't take anything else. Oh, this is so true. Like, I'm sorry, I can't marry all of you. Like, some of you are going to have to be not
friends
married.
Instead. Yeah.
Friends, yeah, and I'm sorry that's
terrible.
Yeah. Learning the other person's love language is important.
I mean, yeah, I think like love languages is a good set thing to look at generally, like as ideas for how you can show other people appreciation. I'm not convinced of the really strong kind of idea of like that people only have one love language or something like that. But you can look at it and it's like, well, these are good things to do for your partner.
If you do, you probably should look inwardly. If your love language is only physical touch or material items, then maybe you're actually a meerkat and not a human.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that used to be a big thing. It was embarrassing to have older parents. Oh my god, for me, growing up in England, it was really embarrassing having older parents, because I think it's probably the same everywhere, but people talk differently on their generation. Yeah. And I was a kid talking like an old age pensioner. It was really cringe. No wonder I got bullied.
I did read that like the outcomes of children with older parents are better though, because often the parents are a bit settled and they can support them.
That's true, actually. There are some good things about it. Like, my dad took me to a lot of museums, and some things are better. I think my parents are just a bad example because they're
well, I mean, everyone's different in that sense.
Glitch said, bro, if you give me shiny rocks you found on the ground, I'll be pleased. Yeah, I think that's important. I think men misconstrue this. Like, sometimes women love to get a gift, and it's like, I don't want like a Chanel bag, although that'd be nice, but like saying, oh, I went to like, for example, I went to this prefecture, I saw this omiyage for you, and I brought it back because I thought you would like it, and it costs like 500 yen, and she's gonna be happy. Like, men won't even do that much.
It doesn't even cross some people's mind, I guess. And then I think like also the other thing is, I feel like a lot of men, especially younger men, they kind of treat women as aliens, sort of. It's like
oh my god, that's such a big thing as well.
Yeah.
We are pretty much the same, like.
Yeah, exactly. If you just think of it that way, and like.
Maybe date someone that you think of as like the opposite of a friend zone. Maybe date someone that you like hanging out with generally.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of men just dislike women, and they dislike the women that they date even.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she's annoying, she's this, is that. It's like, well, why are you not dating someone that you like being with? Someone said, Alice said, usually things that are really hated is because young girls and women like them. Yeah, that's so true.
That's true.
Like Taylor Swift, Starbucks, stuff like that. Ozzy Osan said, this is why I think everyone should live by themselves for a year or so at least. It helps you figure out how to live within your means. That's true, but I think, like, it's hard. Like, I'm very privileged in the sense that I can live by myself in a nice quality of life. Like, right now, I'm living and I love it, but not everyone has the opportunity, particularly these days. It's very hard for people to live just by themselves in this economy.
I mean, I think it's good for everyone to learn to be able to take care of themselves. You know,
yeah, no, that's true, yeah. Love language is important. My ex didn't fulfill mine anymore, and I didn't fulfill his, though his expectations were a bit much. For a little disabled me, I crumbled. Yay, single. Honestly, eventually, like, sometimes it just happens. Like, you fall out of incompatibility. Some people are just not compatible, stuff like that. It happens. It's sad, but, you know, you move on. That's what you can do, like, pretty much. I'm always like, that's it, I'm not dating ever again. And then I'm like, okay, I'm dating. I'm getting married next week. People have love languages tiered usually, like a subconscious ranking that one might not even really know themselves. Yeah, I don't really understand myself that much. For me, it's more like someone that is comfortable for me to be around. That's the main thing for me. Someone that I like spending time with, because this is going to be someone that you spend a lot of time with. So it has to be someone that you can spend a lot of time with, and it doesn't bug you. Is the most important thing for me.
I mean, it's kind of like the problem that like older couples sometimes have, that they didn't spend very much time because, you know, usually the husband would work and then they would hardly see each other, and then like after retirement they're like, oh, I'm around this person now that I don't have anything in common with.
Yeah, that's really sad, honestly. What Ghost said. Thank you, Ghost. Yeah, honestly, I never thought too much about love languages that much. I think it's like, I don't require it that much. I'm trying to up my requirements and make it so I get more. Because I feel like sometimes I don't think about my own needs that much when I'm in a relationship. I think this has been my problem, is that I've always put like 150% in, and then I'll get maybe like 40% back. And I'm like, well, you know, like I'm just more romantic than them.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like all of these kind of things, like whether it's labels or something like love languages, they should be useful to you, right? Like shouldn't be like a religion kind of thing, but basically like, how does it help me to understand myself better, my situation better?
Yeah, that's so true, actually. I don't even know what all the love languages are. And I think it also changes as you got older. Like for me, what I wanted from a relationship is very different than it was 10 years ago. So I think people also change. And yourself changes. And a lot of like growing up is just knowing about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, I think it depends on your situation, right? Like, you know, if say you're in your 30s, you might have other priorities than you had in your early 20s, you know. And, if you want to build a life together with someone, you're also like, well, what do we actually want to do? You know, like what's the future for us?
Oh my god, for real. Like, that's the thing. It's like, for me, the worst part for me is like when I start dating someone, it's like I have to ask, are you allergic to cats?
Right, yeah.
Do you want to live in a house with cats? Like, it's so cat-centric. My love language #1 is like cats. I can hear a cat eating something.
Yeah, something's happening.
Is there a cat in the cupboard?
Could be.
Let me just go check on that, guys, because you can keep going. Oh, my jellyfish one. Is there a cat in here?
I think it was the jellyfish that was actually
Oh,
falling
maybe
down.
it was a
Maybe that's
jellyfish.
it.
Oh, okay.
It sounded a bit like scratching, but I think
Oh,
it's
it was a jellyfish. Yay.
Jellyfish looks a bit like me.
It does a little bit.
Hello.
Maybe you could date the jellyfish.
Yeah.
So
Do
maybe
you like me?
I don't know. I think
How you doing?
you're assigned.
Yeah. Am I assigned to jellyfish?
We will stream. You want to stream until 10? So we got 12 minutes. Is there anything else
12
we wanted
minutes.
to talk about next, Ghosty?
No, if there's any questions, otherwise we can talk. We can go back to politics a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of political things. Like we didn't really. Maybe we could, if we
We
do another
started
stream.
it.
I want to talk more about Gaza and Palestine because I want to get
Yeah.
a little bit more educated on that.
Yeah. No,
But-
definitely.
Glitch said, I always forget that people can notice me, and maybe it's because I disassociate a lot. I do that too, particularly in Japan. When people are staring at me, I'm like, why are they staring at me? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I'm foreign. Huh.
Yeah.
My dad is super allergic to cats, but he managed to have mine for 16 years. Damn! That's an old AF cat. Thanks, Yumichi, for the jellyfish. Yeah, Yumichi's sick.
I think one thing, just what you were saying before about like being stared at or like looked at and things like that. It's best to think about like you don't know what the person is thinking, right? Because you can go either way in your mind. You can be like, oh, they look at me because they think I look weird, or like or maybe they're not thinking that. And so like since you don't know, it's probably best for your own mental health to just assume they're not thinking something bad. That's just
Yeah, when I'm on the train and there's an old man looking at me and I'm like, is it because he thinks I'm cute or he thinks Japan should return to Sakoku?
Exactly. Yeah. Could be
Could
either
be
way.
either, never know. Maybe a little bit
Oh,
of both.
both.
Maybe
Yeah. Like, she's cute and I don't like that feeling. She should go back to her home.
Nia said, hello, am I late? We were streaming for the last 10 minutes, so if you have any more questions for our political ghost. Someone said, talk about the Battle of Stalingrad or the 2008 financial crash. That's hilarious. I've got 10 minutes. Like, I don't know if we can do that. Maybe we do that for... I would like to do another video with Just
Definitely.
Marius.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, like, I know only a tiny bit about Stalingrad. That's kind of a...
I studied that in college.
so
Can't
you can
remember what
educate me.
Can't remember what happened. I prefer, like, Russian history
Pre the Germans.
World War II era. I actually no. I think we stopped after the Bolsheviks took over. No, we stopped when Stalin took over. We did a little bit about Stalin, and then that was it, as far as I recall.
I mean, that's interesting though.
The stars are
2000
really interesting. Oh my god!
Yeah.
If you guys, do you know? I don't know, guys. Do you have Netflix?
Yeah, we do have Netflix over here.
There's a fantasy series called Shadow and Bone. Do you know it?
No, I've not heard.
Okay, please watch it, and everyone else here watch it. It's called Shadow and Bone. It's based off books, which I have read all of. There's two separate series. There's Shadow and Bone, and there's, I think it's called The Six of Crows. And in the series, they meshed them together. So it's like reading 10 books. It's great. And it's a fantasy series, which I love, because it's based off of Russian aesthetics, and it's based in Russia, and it's based on like the military, and it looks sick, and it's really cool. And I do love high fantasy, but I'm really sick of it being like all medieval shit. Like I feel like we've seen that a million times. So this one's really good. Really recommend it.
Yeah, it's cool to have like some other aesthetics sometimes. I think.
Yeah, I feel like we've done this before. We can do like now I want to see something like Mongolian. That would be sick.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm really into like Kazakhstan recently.
Oh really?
I'm watching a lot of YouTube and like Netflix things where people go to Kazakhstan, because like people in Kazakhstan, their diet is mostly meat and milk, because the ground, they can't really grow that many things.
Right.
And it's like landlocked mostly.
Yeah.
So they're like, their culture is very like settlery and like shepherdy.
Like
so
step kind of stuff.
yeah, it's exactly like that. So it's just like everyone's quite like big and like strong, because all they do is eat meat and drink milk.
Oh, okay.
And so they have so many recipes. And one thing they do is like they cut up like a goat, and they carve the arms and legs and they sew it, and it's like a big sack. And they stuff it with everything. They take out the bones and they put the juicy parts back in, and then they put it on a big fire. and then they eat
the whole
it.
goat.
Yeah, it's like really, it's kind of like watching it. It like looks messed up. It's really
like
interesting.
haggis, but with a whole goat.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I know. I think it's really interesting because like Kazakhstan is huge. Like if you see it on the map, but like there's little that we know about it, and I think it's really sad. Ozzy Olsen said, "That's a good point. I have a face that looks angry when I'm thinking, so when I'm looking around the train, I can sometimes scare people. That's hilarious. You got resting bitch face, babes.
Resting anger face.
I think that your expression is usually quite pleasant. I've never felt scared by your face. Wow, you said my name right. That was so rare. Really? I feel like this is how it's spelled." Bent Nathan said, "I have a question. Do you think as leftists we should support nuclear power?"
I mean, it's a difficult conversation, right?
I actually do support nuclear power. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like a lot of questions that are like scientifically you could ask about that, whether it's actually going to be profitable anyways. That's a question you gotta have. And then like in the German context, the Green Party is really defined by its opposition to nuclear power, so that's kind of
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I mean, I personally am basically agnostic on nuclear power. I think like if it makes sense, yeah. Like global warming is more is like a massive thing that's coming, and nuclear power could potentially help with that.
That's why I'm really pro nuclear power, because I think that the problem is that once again it wasn't regulated properly, and like with Chernobyl and obviously in Fukushima, I think there's just like the thing that happened in Fukushima was just really, really unlucky that it was hit with this. That was like unprecedented. All in all, it's clean energy, and we're running out of like other sources. And I think that maybe nuclear power is good to tide us over until we we find other clean forms of energy. And again, like right now, climate change is a big issue.
I mean, it's very scary, right? Like potentially something can go on, like Chernobyl, right? But then at the same time, there's like 15,000 nuclear weapons out and about. So I think the nuclear energy is not the biggest.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe we should be using the nuclear for good, not for bad. And like again, we only hear about the bad things to do with nuclear energy, not the good things. So but then I mean, I think that we should be looking for like better forms of clean energy, but until then I've been pro nuclear energy.
I mean, I feel like it's I don't know, it seems definitely better than like coal, right? Or oil or something like that.
Someone said there's a Mongolian Mailman game coming out. That sounds great. I want to play that. That sounds amazing. Please send me that. Food and politics go hand in hand. Oh my god, that's so true. That's another thing I hate. Some liberal people with their moral high grounds and don't make exceptions for cultures and disabilities. You're so right. I think the problem with liberal-minded people is they're in some ways very close-minded. Unless you don't fit their exact worldview, they do get really, really mad, and like they don't take into account like cultural things. Check the Nomad games if you're a Kazakhstan fan. I will. That sounds sick. I've told to do something bad, which I can't say in stream, because I eat meat. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I get that. Like, my general view about that is, as someone that eats meat, is that we should try to eat less meat, but, like, slowly. And, like, I'm also very for, the lab-grown meat. I'm really into that. And everyone has a different opinion about that, but I think that's a good idea.
That would be good. It's definitely much more ethical, right?
Yeah, for real. And I think it takes almost the same, so... Alex has said, I live next to a nuclear power plant in the States, never felt unsafe. Yeah. Right. I mean, there are tons of them. That's the thing. People only think about the bad ones, right?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I heard about last year is that in France they had to shut them down because it got too hot.
So that's climate change.
That is climate change. And then the question is like, does it actually become profitable? And obviously where to put the nuclear waste is a very difficult question that like we don't have a great answer to.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd never trust the private sector with it. Oh, for real. Chernobyl was a domino effect by many mistakes. Yeah, I think the thing with Chernobyl and Fukushima is like, it was just like a coincidence of many things happening, but also like it wasn't very well regulated. Like enough of Fukushima, like TEPCO, are just a bad company in general for like a lot of reasons. Nia said, as for the food thing, I need to start eating things with more vitamin D. And is there any advice for hair growth? There are hair gummies that I heard are really, really good. I want my hair to grow less. I have too much hair, so I'm not sure about that. Oki said, well, I just woke up streaming so early. Yeah, I streamed earlier today because I'm streaming with, well, I was haunted by a little ghost.
Yeah.
So we're going to stream
I'm an early
for...
early ghost.
We've got 4 minutes. I need to go to the toilet so bad. Like a sweat.
Well, at least you were hydrating during.
Yeah, a little
That
bit too
sounds
much, actually. I'm going to piss like a racehorse after this.
I mean, about the hair growth thing, I don't know. Like I think like Regain is a product that
Oh, yeah?
people use, and that might help. Except for that, I don't know if there's that much you can do. But there's this guy called More Plates, More Dates who kind of has like some videos on that. I'm not endorsing everything he says, but if you're interested in that, you can look that up.
My phone died.
Oh
I'm
no!
gonna read the
No
comments
more
from here
questions.
now. Yeah, I can read them from here.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta balance your diet if you can. Yeah, I have like extreme hair growth. I have way too much hair. I have to get it thinned out a lot, which is also quite annoying. But yeah, so that
too
was
much.
too much vitamin D. Wink, winky wink.
It's like, oh no, I have too much beautiful hair. Oh no.
Oh yeah, everyone check out @Bardamaz after the stream. I tagged you in the title and
Thank you very
the
much.
description. And guys, please go subscribe to the
I
Lost.
play Minecraft and talk about stuff, and sometimes I upload.
Yeah, we're gonna maybe do some videos together. I'm surprised we managed to figure this out.
Yeah,
Honestly.
it worked out.
Yeah, it did way better than I thought. I thought we were gonna give up because I'm done.
No, I think it was more on my part here, but like we did it.
Poor Pinga said, work done for tonight. Let's get it. We are also, we're pretty much done. If anyone else has anything you want to say. Happy with my hair length, but wish it was one day reaches my hips. Ooh, that would be very long. Also, look into your hair type. Yeah, that's a very big thing as well. It's like a lot of things. Thanks for the video. Sub to Ghosty. Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you guys. It was a really productive stream. I want to do this again. There's a lot of things we didn't get to touch on. We didn't get to touch on talking about Gaza and Palestine and Israel. Oh,
We should should talk about that.
just have like one based off of that. And maybe Russia, Ukraine.
I mean, I think we're both against people being murdered in Gaza. I think
For
that's,
real. I think that's... Yeah, I think that we can establish that.
Yeah,
much,
we can
right?
establish
That's
that.
bad, right?
Yeah.
Next time, the Battle of Stalingrad. Someone keeps asking for the Battle of Stalingrad. I'm like,
Yeah. You need to find an expert on that, I think.
that's not me. But anyways, yeah, I'm sorry, Oki. We ended up, next time I stream, I'll do my normal time. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. We had a really, really nice time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
You can go back to haunting my toilet.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay. Night, guys. Love you so much. Thank you. I had a really good time. Yay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming. Bye-bye. Night-night. Oh, wait. CapsuleBunny will always be my savior when I feel down. I'm gonna cry.